Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. We made it through another week, and today I am on a mission, specifically with Mission Cloud, talking all things AWS migration, modernization, optimization. Gentlemen, how are you?
Great. Ready to rock
Awesome.
and roll.
Rock and
Awesome.
roll. Well, let's start with some introductions. We'll sort of ease into this. Dr. Ryan, maybe introduce yourself and your role at Mission Cloud.
Everyone. Dr. Ryan Reese here. I lead missions, data analytics, and machine learning team. We do all things AWS. If you're looking for data or analytics, or if you're trying to do more advanced stuff on the machine learning side, we've spent years doing NLP, which, as most of you know, has now become GenAI. So if you're looking for a GenAI expert, we're here, and it'll be some of the topic we talk with Evan today. So excited to be here.
Excited to have you. And you are not a medical doctor, I take it. You are a doctor of machine learning. What's your PhD in, if I can
So
ask?
my PhD, I guess, is technically in biophysical chemistry, and I spent years staring down a microscope and building computer vision models to track cells and motion through cells to get my
Wow.
PhD.
Wow, that is fascinating. Well, we could have a whole episode on that, but we won't. We will stick to our knitting here. And Casey, joining from LA, we're just chatting about the classic LA Lakers Celtics rivalry. Um, we all know who's going to win this year. So maybe introduce yourself, Casey, and your role at Mission Cloud.
Sure. Hi, everybody. So I lead product marketing here at Mission Cloud. For those of you that don't know what product marketing is, I sit between the sales team, the marketing team, the product team. I work hand in hand with Ryan quite a bit. And basically, I take very complex technical subjects and try to make them accessible to our customers.
Awesome. Well, I love that mission statement. So describe some of the core values that drive Mission Cloud, and how do those translate into the services? Give us a snapshot of what you do and for whom at Mission Cloud.
Yeah. So Mission Cloud is a next generation cloud services provider, and what that really means is we're a full suite of services. It's everything that you could want for AWS. We work exclusively on AWS. We do what's called managed services, which is basically taking all of the hard work of managing an environment and taking care of it for you. And we also do professional services. Ryan leads a practice in professional services, but professional services is the hands-on keyboard engineering of getting a new initiative launched or building some kind of infrastructure or architecture on your AWS backend. So we do all of it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'd like to say we're a one-stop shop, and we work with customers of all sizes, right? Some are startups that are just getting out the door, looking for support to get that app built quickly, and then we have a lot of enterprise customers as well that are just trying to figure out, hey, how can I do things more efficiently, right? How can I work through, use the latest tech, use anything that's out there, right? Obviously, with Gen AI, there's been an explosion across the space of everyone trying to figure out, hey, what can I do to improve efficiency and create better things and better experiences for both the internal staff as well as my customers.
Well, fantastic approach. And tell us about maybe a recent project or deliverable that was a win-win for you and the client. You must have many examples. Any favorite anecdotes or projects lately you can share?
Yeah, there's a there's a lot of good projects that we're doing. One of them, I sometimes try to decide whether it's a good or bad thing. We work with a SaaS company that helps real estate agents to kind of connect with their customers better. Now, my real
Mm.
estate agents spam me all the time, so I just made it easier for them to spam, basically. So in a sense, it was a super cool project because it was personalization and used basically the power of the large language models to create that newsletter a lot more, to let the real estate agent, put in some bullet points, create a newsletter. It then pulls information out of the MLS relating to what that customer is looking for and then sends out a newsletter, right? So now instead of maybe spending half a day writing the newsletter, they spend 5 minutes. So I don't know if it's a benefit or not for the rest of us, but it's
Well, Ryan,
yeah.
what Casey and I call that is marketing. That it's not spam, but we understand you tech guys
Thank you, Evan.
would
Thanks for standing up for me. I needed some help in my corner.
But I love the opportunity that Gen I actually presents when you talk about personalized marketing. So you get a newsletter that's actually targeted and based on your personal interest and region versus true spam, which is, one size fits all. So, that's a pretty cool example of a practical use case for Gen AI. And, Casey, you guys are more than just a tech provider. You talk a lot about values and mission, which is unusual in tech. Usually we're kind of here to make money. But talk about that. Just looking at your website, you talk about embracing life as a key value, having fun, in addition to being professional, accountability, all kinds of things you don't hear from most tech providers. So what's the big idea there? What's the genesis of that?
Well, I wasn't at Mission from its founding, so I can't
Mhm.
speak authoritatively to who decided at what point these were going to be our values. But certainly, I think we put a huge emphasis on building a culture of inclusivity, a culture of accountability, and really a culture that does right by our customers. I think, summing up the values, I would say the most impressive thing is how often we are willing to go the extra mile to not just to make a customer happy, but to do right by them. And I think that, first of all, I think that's just frankly rare in consulting, period. Second of all, I mean, I have seen it, right? And so if you go and read any of the case studies on our website, you're going to see examples of where we steered the customers sometimes away from decisions that maybe could have made us quite a bit more money, but were best for their business and for the long-term health of their business. And that's really the way we conduct ourselves. I think it's a reason that we've stood out in the space. It's a reason that Amazon loves working with us and partnering with us.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I
that's
think
great to
I think
hear.
oh, sorry, Evan.
No, please chime in. We're just chatting here.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think a lot of the things, right, we've embraced early on, remote work, and that really helps people just find a lot more enjoyment, right? Because most people are working on projects with customers. And so even if you're in an office, you're not necessarily working with each other, right? And I live in LA, much like Casey does, and trying to commute to an office, you lose, hours out of your day for people in major cities. And so being able to not have that stress, to be working at home, to be able to know, hey, I need to run an errand, because nobody is open on the weekend, right? I need to go to the dentist or all that. It's not a massive issue, right? You just quickly run over, come back. Everything we work on is agile. And then, the staff that we've hired are people that just love the cloud and love, data or machine learning. And so these projects are exciting for them. They come in, they're kind of like Ronin, right? Like, hey, this customer in 8 weeks, we need to build this out so they're up and running, right? So it's kind of an exciting challenge to know that you're helping, all these companies, get into the cloud and build out what they need to really help improve their business and help them, become more profitable or add additional customers and not have to worry about the scaling issues. So I think that part of the mission, just really resonates with people and they get excited about it.
Oh, that's a great approach to life in general, as well as business. And given the ever expanding ecosystem that is AWS and the new offers, I mean, Ryan, how do you and the team stay on top of this landscape in AWS? Every day there's new announcements and features, functionality. It's a lot, to say the least. What's your approach there to learning and keep kind of staying ahead of the curve?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot. And, one of the reasons that Mission solely focuses on AWS is exactly because of that, right? Like, just imagine if you were trying to do all three clouds now and had 3 times the announcements every day. And so, the team, we stay abreast of what's going on with AWS as a premier partner. We're invited to a lot of events and learning opportunities with the AWS team where they're talking about the new features. I sit on several partner boards at AWS where we're able to, talk to them and kind of influence, what the services are going to do because of issues that we've seen, right? Where it's like, hey, look, our customers are seeing this issue. If you could help shape the tool to do this or that, that'd be, really powerful. And you see AWS embrace that, right? One of the big pieces of that is if you look at, the zero ETL announcements out of out of Aurora into Redshift and things like that, right? Where it's helping make things easier, because before, you'd have to do a bunch of read replicas and all kinds of other things, or build out, the pipeline to move data, and it could be complex depending on the timing. So, AWS really listens to their partners on what their, what customers are doing and need help with, and issues we're seeing with building out the system. So it's a really valuable partnership for all of us.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And you guys have a very high customer satisfaction scores. You were proud of that. You talk about it on the website. What's the key to achieving and maintaining, those levels of CSAT, Casey? What's the secret sauce there?
Have to do right by the customer all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to put their priorities ahead of your own. I think I think there is actually some hidden complexity there, and that we're also trying to make AWS happy, and we're also trying to make money. Mm-hmm. So it's not as though it's very simple to do that well. But if you build your business correctly, you get a lot of customer loyalty. You get a lot of long-term value, lifetime value out of customers. And we now have a really phenomenal business model where we are retaining customers for years and years on end, and now have a several years running 80 plus NPS score. So I think it really has proven itself out.
And I would say one of our big successes, they're kind of some of the, hidden heroes at Mission, is we have a customer success team that, has all these customers, and they're checking in with them, and they're making sure everything's going right. They're giving every customer a bit of that white glove feel that, hey, you guys are really important, and, Mission cares about you and gathers feedback and does, various QBRs and what are your goals and everything on that side. So, I think that, lack of a better word, hand-holding with the customer, is really valuable and helps us maintain, those high scores, as well as keeping, the customers happy and finding additional opportunities to help them grow.
Yeah. A great example of that as well would be, we've got a sub 5-minute SLA average response time. So we have a very dedicated crew of support engineers that are working, and that's on a 24/7 schedule, right? So we offer enterprise support, but we do so at business support prices to give you a sense of what the real value is for the customer there. That's another way that we've tried to be very customer centric, one in terms of availability, but also in terms of pricing aggressively and trying to give the customer the most possible value on AWS.
Nice. Well, it's great to see. One of the things that piqued my interest was being here in Boston and being a Celtics fan, notable clients like the Boston Celtics organization. So, give us an anecdote or a story here that we can share. What did you do for them, and how, and what was the big idea behind working with the Celtics?
I think Ryan's the right person here, because it's
okay.
The majority of the work in this case.
I'm not quite the right person, but I do know some of the story. So Mission was founded in 2017, but it goes back much further than that. A PE firm, right, came together, about 3 smaller AWS partners, and merged them together into a single AWS partner, right, that was able to tackle the ecosystem. So the Celtics have been a long-term customer. They were one of those original customers to Mission, and we've been helping them for a long time with all their infrastructure, helping them, maintain their AWS environments. We've had brainstorming sessions with them and their data scientists and whatnot on things that they could do or can't do with their data. We haven't had a project directly with them on doing any of the data science bits, but have helped, suggest things and other stuff that I know they've worked on. So it's been, valuable partnership every year. We also do an event with the Celtics. Have a game night with a suite where the CTO of the Celtics comes in and talks about all the work AWS or all the work they have on AWS to customers, and about the optimization journey that Mission has done with them. So it's been a great multi-year partnership with the Celtics. So it's been lots of fun.
Yeah, and what Ryan
Fantastic.
was alluding to there as well is we also manage the Celtics environment on AWS. So that is part of the reason that we've had them for such a long time and have developed such a great relationship.
Well, it's amazing to see the adoption of leading edge tech in sports organizations. They're on the bleeding edge now of every innovation, cloud and wireless and AI and Internet of Things. It's really impressive to see, and always open to a box seat invitation as and when you have your next Celtics event. Shameless. I'm shameless. But Reinvent, of course, is a big deal for the industry, for you. What are you excited about, looking forward to? Ryan, what's on your radar? And I assume you'll be there personally.
So it'll be a pretty exciting event. I'm actually going to go on vacation next week and come back to Reinvent with a lot of jet lag. So I'll see how that goes. On the exciting side, I would say there's going to be tons of announcements around GenAI and everything else. So looking forward to seeing some of those announcements. We've been privy to a few things, but we also know they've held back a few things. So it'll be exciting to see what exactly is out there. There's going to be also a bunch of cool announcements for Mission that are going to be present at Reinvent. So we're excited to get that out there. We know that we are going to have, there's a few different keynotes that Mission's going to have, a little bit of content in. So that's an exciting place for us to have AWS recognizing the work that we've done and really showcasing the partners and how they help in the ecosystem. So that's exciting times for Mission. And on a personal note, I got invited to go to the Sphere for one of the nights, so I'm excited to see what the Sphere is all about. I don't know if people have seen it in Vegas, but it's like the Death Star sitting on the ground. So I'm pretty excited to see that.
Casey, is Mission Cloud taking over the outside advertisement on the Sphere? Is that part of your marketing plan?
Well,
do you have that budgeted for?
We are going to have some pretty cool billboards up around town.
Okay.
And you should definitely keep an eye out for those. We'll be making a splash in that way. Myself, I'll actually be on the show floor. So we'll have a booth as well in Reinvent, and we'll be demoing a lot of cool stuff, including a bespoke demo of generative AI that Ryan's team actually built for us. We're also going to be announcing a couple of pretty big expansions to our proprietary cloud services platform, Mission Control. So you'll be able to demo those as well. And then
great name.
Yeah. And then in the spirit of shamelessness, we will also be raffling some really cool stuff. So honestly, you should just come and participate in the raffle, if only to get some of the awesome things we're giving away.
I never win anything. I'm afraid. I try, but I'm a total loser when it comes to lotteries and raffles. But I appreciate the sentiment.
Yeah, and I want to say lastly, we will be featuring Ludacris at our party. So we're gonna throw the best party at Reinvent, which is basically a multi-year company tradition at this point, and really encourage people to come to that. It's called Ignite, and that'll be on Wednesday night at Reinvent.
Wow, fantastic! What a good time! And once you're fully recovered from your hangover at Reinvent, what's on for the rest of the year? Any obviously deep planning for next year? Anything already on your radar? What are you looking forward to? Casey?
There's a lot. I think so one of the things that's very exciting about Mission is AWS made a strategic investment in us this year. I can't really disclose the amount of money, but it's a lot. And that involves a very significant expansion, both of the size of our team, the amount of customers we can address, the way that we're going to conduct go-to-market strategy. Really, every dimension of the business is growing extraordinarily because of this investment. And so you're going to see much, much more from us next year, not only at Reinvent next year, but also all the way leading up to that. There's going to be a lot of new stuff that we are doing in partnership with AWS.
Fantastic. Wow, you buried the lead, but I'm glad we got to that. That was a great announcement. Maybe we broke some news here. I'm not sure. What about you, Dr. Ryan? What are you excited about as we close Q4, get into Q1?
Yeah, so it's going to be a crazy next few months for us. AWS was just doing a special promotion with some select partners around Gen AI, and so we have about I don't even know the number, somewhere 40 to 50 Gen AI projects we're about to kick off over the next 3.5 months for customers, and it's going to be a wild ride to help all these customers start getting into Gen AI and seeing the power of it as they then take that to productionalize it and help their customers have better experiences. So we were already lately Gen AI all the time, and now it's even more going to be Gen AI all the time. So it'll
Well,
be
the value's there. It's an exciting time to be in this space and to be partnered with Amazon. What a great opportunity. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks so much for sharing just a little bit of the insight and your vision. It's fun to chat with you. And thanks, everyone, for watching. Reach out to the team here and check them out at Reinvent. It's going to be a big deal. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Evan.